avec eux, on peut s'entraider. Pour faire son trou, plus besoin de se creuser.
And we're back. Tannic Grips.
Welcome to the region of quiche.
Lorraine.
Yes. Here we're going to talk about a wine that is wines that are made in one of France's smallest wine regions called the Lorraine. Fun little fact that the Mosel, the river that flows into Germany and is very, very famous because of being a great tributary of the Rhine and the amazing vineyards and blah, 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 all the German things. It starts, the Moselle, starts in France in the Vosges Mountains. So we're far northeast. We're very close to Alsace. We're northeast of Burgundy, just to orient you a little bit. And here, let's talk a little bit about history.
All right, let's talk.
Roman times.
Lorraine was killing it.
There's a long history here.
Mm-hmm.
Burgundians, all the people that were like, oh, the Romans were there, and they were in Champagne, and they were planting grapes, and they were trellising.
Yeah, they popped right up there.
They were hopping right up there, and they were doing that too.
They were doing it all.
Yep, and then 15th through the 17th century, it was good times. Heyday of Lorraine. And then what happened? We just followed...
Well, the 18th and 19th, and then the 20th hit.
It was a big bummer.
It was a big bummer
Britt
for a lot of reasons. We had phylloxera. It was also a big bummer for a lot of other regions, but, whatever.
Here, this region was like because of the wars with
World
present
War
day
I,
Germany.
World War II. It was just ridiculous. Also, a big impact that it did have was that the region of Champagne, which is very close to the region of Lorraine, it got really serious about its geographic boundaries. And there were a lot of grapes that were identifying vineyards that became into Champagne that had been they were identifying as Lorraine, and then they're like, no, that's Champagne now. So and they kind of got it ended up cutting off a huge part of their market. So that was huge. A lot of people in France don't actually even within the area of Lorraine, they don't even know anything about Lorraine and all these wines that were
Which is so strange.
Yeah,
because most people are like, I'm from Burgundy, I love Burgundy wines.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Champagne, I like Champenoise.
Mm-hmm.
Or I like Champagnes. It's
Or they
strange
just
to
have
people they don't
common
have
knowledge.
They don't have a running knowledge of this area, which that's what we're here for.
Bingo.
Tannic Grips. Yep. So we wanted to talk about two producers that we really, really enjoy. One, Britt and I can hardly pronounce. That's what's in our glass right now. If you can see this beautiful color. How are we going to pronounce this right now? Because we pronounced it different 10 minutes ago. Les Lèvres.
Les Lèvres.
That was the best. Let's just stop right there.
Yeah, let's not even go on. Two brothers, Vincent and David, and they have been producing since 1971. And I believe they've been making wine since 1971.
All organic fruit.
Their AOC is Côte de Toul, which would be, if you're familiar with Lorraine at all, that would probably be the AOC that you're familiar with. So, super interesting. They do Auxerrois for a white wine, and then they do Gamay and Pinot Noir. And then that brings us to our little rosé in the glass here, and it is
It's a gris. Vongris. Gris de Toul, which Vongris, there's a little skin contact, but not much. It's literally what it takes to harvest the grapes and get them right to the press. So you're left with this beautiful, I was saying this pink verging on orange, and then Britt was like,
salmon.
Okay, so it's a light salmon, maybe a king and not a coho or whatever, a little fattier, but
I don't even know.
It's a blend of Gamay and Pinot Noir, and they ferment them separate, all with native yeast, all in stainless steel to retain that freshness. And then they blend them before they bottle them. Obviously, let them rest, let them, coalesce. But you're left with this beautiful. You were saying slightly minty.
Yeah, the finish of this is super minty. It's got a lot of grapefruit. It's got grapefruit flesh, but it also has the pith and the peel. It's very aromatic.
Red, ruby red Texas grapefruit. Yeah, bone dry rosé. And brand new vintage, 2019, just arrived.
Yeah, super fun. This is definitely a rosé. I don't know. This is the time to be drinking. It's a billion degrees outside in Minnesota. Get a bottle of this because it is so refreshing.
When you said this is the time to be drinking, I was like, Britt, you and I are hanging out. It's always the time to be drinking.
All right.
Last time it was 11, and now it's 6:30. So we've got the rosé. We also have a really beautiful Brut method traditionnel, which is like made just like champagne is made, which the second fermentation is happening in the bottle. This is all Gamay. It's a dry wine, and it's really, really pretty. It pours you hardly see any pink. It's like just barely, but it's so pretty, dry. Again, a really great value for $22 sparkling wine that's made like champagne. But from the Lorraine, they're usually just a huge bargain.
Yeah, super fun. It's just like it's beautiful. It's a thoughtful wine. I don't know. I like the acid in it. It's really balanced. And again, it's just like for that price, you just can't beat it. Can't afford not to.
No. Shall we meet?
Well, hang on. A Tannic Grip call.
Oh yeah.
Tannic Grip. I'm gonna two. Yeah, like
it's a
nailed
two.
it. It's a two.
Love
it's a two, folks.
On our last take, when we surprised each other with the two, we were like, "What up? Oh my gosh!" Yeah.
But after some time, you get used to each other.
It's true. It's true. Oh my gosh, it's so delicious.
It is.
It's
delicious.
so fun, easy drinking.
I'm happy.
I'm happy too, and I'm really excited to talk about these cats because this was like my introduction to Lorraine here in Minneapolis. I'd had a couple wines in other cities, but we've never had these were the first people to kind of enter into the Minneapolis market with Lorraine, and we have their Vongris. We have only 2 bottles left of their sparkling Gamay. It's basically made just like this, but a different producer. They're called Camille or Domaine Migot, Migot. And I mean, if Britt and I don't buy a bottle each, it'll be 2 bottles.
We're gonna hold
whoever
off
gets
for
in
a
first.
second because we like to practice restraint.
Yeah, we'll give you guys a
You
day or
have
two.
until tomorrow.
It's true. And then we've got their Gamay, which we'll taste together. They're like Les Lièvres, where they're all organic. The fruit is all organic and practices native yeast fermentations in the cellar. These guys practice very low sulfur regimen, and we're going to taste the Gamay today.
Super fun. Domaine Migot. He's pretty young, the current winemaker, and they've been making wine for about 13 generations. And Jill and I were talking about, we don't know what 13 generations. That's what's so much fun is the history of wine and winemaking. They've been practicing it in Lorraine for 13 generations.
Can you go back 13 generations?
Absolutely not. I don't need to.
I can only go back 5, and
I only
even
care
then
about this generation. No, I don't. I'm really worried about the other ones.
this Gamay is the choice of a new generation.
Yeah. So this is super
Pepsi reference. I promise we won't make money off of
unless Pepsi wants to give us money for it.
Cool. All right. Word.
We know it's not natural wine. We just want to make that clarification.
It's true. So this Gamay, one thing we want to highlight. How much time do we got, Britt? How are we doing on time? We went vastly over last time. Perfect.
We got it. Let's just keep it clipping.
So this, or keep it gripping.
I can't sometimes. This is too good. All right.
So in this region, what is really cool about Migot, and all of the wines of the Lorraine, but you specifically get it with this wine. We talked about this earlier on our 17th taste of this wine. Calcareous soils in this area, and what that means is you get a little bit of a chalkiness, but you get a lot of acidity. And Gamay, Britt and I have had a lot of Gamay from Beaujolais, from the Loire Valley, from California, and everywhere it's obviously hopefully the way we buy wines here at Henry & Son, they're of a place. Here, this is unlike any Gamay I've ever had. Yeah. It's rich in this area, Alsace, Vosges Mountains, Lorraine. They have more sun hours than anywhere in France. More sun hours than Provence in the south, which everybody goes and vacations there. Go to the Vosges Mountains, people. You'll maybe have a little bit better weather. That said, Gamay is going to be riper because of that, a little richer, but then the calcareous soil just gives it this lift and acidity. It's just so good.
Yeah, and I think kind of to touch on that, well, you taste I think that's another thing about these smaller regions in more mountainous areas is the Savoie, for example. I think is not to get too far into another region, but Savoie, when they're in the Alps, the grapes still get the sun and they ripen. That does help, and that adds. But the elevation and the coolness of the region, and again the calcareous soil, it creates just this super balanced, beautiful wine that still manages to have this ripe fruit, as well as minerality and again a freshness to it. It's not stewed, it's not overdone the way hot climate wines can be. And if that's your thing, but if you're also looking for something that's a refreshing red wine, this is an amazing. When I tasted this, it's I again got like some green herbs in it, and it's just getting like a ton of. Jill made a really great reference to. Jill, sing it with what's the nose smell like? Tell me about Perkins back in the day.
Oh, yeah. So how many times has everybody been to Perkins at like 4 a.m. when you were a high school student? They gave you the 3-tiered thing of syrups. One of those was like this blackberry jam thing. And granted, this is a bone dry gamay, but it's like got so much blackberry seed, blackberry pith, like blueberry. Maybe it's like a common melange of those things. Like, I don't know, I just love it.
Yeah,
what's our Tannic Grip here?
I'm saying 3.5, 4, maybe. 4 would be aggressive for me, but
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm thinking like 3 to 4. We're right there.
yeah, it's
love
just delicious. And it's again, it's so different from any other gamay I've ever had. It's definitely gamay in that sense, don't
For
you?
sure.
Like
The
it's
color
like,
too. The color's very gamay.
Yeah, this gorgeous fuchsia, and it's just such an interesting wine. It's been so fun because I don't know a lot about this region. In fact, like this prompted me to learn quite a bit more, and it's super interesting. And it's amazing that it's so little is known about it. And so it's just kind of fun. I don't know. I'm really enjoying it.
Well, here's to the land of quiche
Quiche Lorraine.
and Tannic Grips.
In case you were worried,
I can't. Sometimes I just can't.
I'm going to insist that stay in.
All right. Enjoy the wines. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
30-foot leash. My little friend, Quiche. Quiche la poodle.